أهلا، ماذا تفعل؟ اسمي سيد بوبو ونحن بوبو. That was Google Translate Arabic. That's just not how it's supposed to be. But what I was trying to say, hey, what's up? My name is Mr. Popo and we are Popo. In this tutorial, we're going to be taking a look on how to simulate a real life interaction. I had most of these interactions happen to me so many times when I was freelancing in Malaysia specifically, where things are going so fast. So basically, it's just a challenge that I kind of missed, which is you have 1 hour or sometimes even less than an hour, and you have to create a logo animation from start to finish with the renders, and they have to use it right after you render it. I hope you enjoyed, and let's jump right into it. Okay, so looking at the logo, I know right off the bat that the logo is first. It's sticky. You know, it's a thick firm. Most of the time, it's a thick firm, and this is for their opening where they have to give a talk. In a certain area, and the area is going to be dark. So I know that the background should not be super bright, and at the same time I can look at the logo and I can see that it's pretty much the same. All I need to do is just work on one, and the other one will just be reflected. And then with a little bit of offset, it's not going to look like I just copied the same thing. All right, so that we know. Now, what are we going to do? What kind of reveal? Well, we know that tech, if we're going to do a reveal, it's going to be this little, if we try to go here, it's going to be this kind of procedural kind of effect. And the reason I went with proceduralism rather than trying to go and do something really fancy by keyframes and stuff like that, it's because what if they change their mind? You know, what if they want this to be applied on another logo? Okay, so I don't have another hour or something to do. So I had to be very careful on how I take care of these things. So yeah, that was the main reason why I went with procedural, why I went with this kind of thing, because this kind of formation also amplifies the term of matrix or forming a certain object in terms of cubes. So that would mean that it's actually blocks of data. So normally humans tend to actually represent data with cubes or hexagons. Hexagons being futuristic, unrealistic, but cubes means that it's actually just a cube of data and it's realistic in terms of how we see things. So this is the reason why I went with this kind of style. And also, you can see, to bring up more of the power that I didn't really have the time to create, I used a lot of compositing techniques to just help me give that narrative away. And yeah, that was the reason how I studied this logo first. So how do we do this inside of Cinema 4D now, and why am I using Cinema 4D? Why am I not using Houdini? Well, the reason behind this, or Blender, one, I was not super comfortable with Blender. My expertise in Blender is very limited. I haven't spent way too much time on Blender. The reason I'm not so comfortable with Houdini, to put this, it's because I'll probably face a problem in Houdini and I won't know how to solve it if I try to do this very particular instance. And if the client wants a certain change and I don't have the knowledge to do it in Houdini, I'll have to redo everything inside of Cinema 4D. So just to stay on the safe side, I wanted so bad to try to do Houdini for this one, but I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna use Cinema 4D since I have pretty much considerable amount of knowledge in terms of how to debug a problem, how to solve a problem in many different ways, which I don't have in any other software rather than Cinema 4D and After. Alright, so for example here, I have the logo. I just created it using a spline and a bunch of loop tools and bevel. And once I extruded it, I transformed it so that I can edit it. And basically what I did here is pretty simple. If we just try to preview this, it's just nothing. To gain time, what I did was I went directly, before I forget anything here, I just want to create the presets that I'm going to be working with, and so that I don't have problems in the future, I tend to set this up before later I tend to forget it. So I just try to set this up. I'll try to turn this off so that it doesn't really annoy me. I make sure that this is 128 and this is 32, just that, you know, we know what we're doing. So yeah, cool. So now I can just turn this off. Now, basically what I try to do is I need to first create that reveal. We know that that reveal we're going to use, for sure, we're going to be using a polyfx. So in case you don't know, polyfx is a way that you can control every single polygon and faces of your object to use MoGraph. So the reason I need this, it's because, you know, we know that if we want to reveal something, we can try to use a plane effector. So as you can see here. So now what's happening is that every face and every polygon is being shifted 100 centimeters. So I'm just going to turn this off. So if I try to scale this so that you can see what's actually really going on in this, you can see. So basically what this helps me to do is I can control every face. And what I want to do is I want to reveal it. And the reveal is from 0 to 100%, right? So if I try to go here now and I find a way to actually animate this, it's going to be pretty beautiful. All right, so one way of doing that is doing the normal fall off. That's how we do it. So I'm just going to say that this is going to be -1. So this is where polygons disappear. And instead of just all of them disappearing at once, what I want is I want them to disappear in a way that is very not so in an instant. So I'm just going to say like here, and then at the end, I'll just say 60 frame. I'm going to have this, and it's just going to finish here. So then if I try to hide this, and I try to look at what's going on, I'm going to have a reveal. But you see, the problem here is that it's not so organic, and I know that the client is going to give this feedback. And this is one thing that you get by experience. That's why experience really matters. It's because you get to save yourself a lot of time that you would have wasted, you know, and you get to save your client from the trouble of having to feedback, because a client really gets annoyed when they have to feedback, because they know that you're going to spend more time and then it's going to come back. So it becomes annoying, you know, no matter how much a person can love you or likes to talk to you. But if it's about feedback and you have to come back and then go and then come back and then go, it's annoying for both of you guys. So knowing how your clients would think, it's really good. So one way I know for sure is that this is too big. That's what she said. This is too big. You see, just from the beginning of the reveal, I'm already over half where my reveal is. So you'll be saying like, hey, but you can actually just control this using the scale of the field by doing something like that. True. All right, so now I no longer have that problem of like, oh, it's, you know, half the size before it even started. Okay, so, but the problem here is this looks very, very, very straight and very linear. So one way to solve this is you could just do this. You can try to do a random effector, but I tried to get around all that. So what I used is something we call vertex modes. So this is a very beautiful thing inside of Cinema 4D, where you can just you know, select your object, okay, and you go into select, and you set vertex weights to 0. It becomes red. Okay, so it means that it's inactive. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select this vertex tag, and I'm gonna say use fields. I click it, now you can see that there is a freeze here. So if I try to play here, nothing is happening, because the mode is set to nothing. But if I say grow, still nothing is happening. Because what's happening is this freeze is waiting for something to touch the point. Once it touches the point, it's gonna grow. and that's what I'm looking for. So to touch the point, I'm just gonna use, we can just use actually this vertical. So you can see here, all right? So whatever this sphere goes, it's gonna affect, the vertexes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push it here because this is where I want the reveal to happen. I'm gonna put a keyframe here, and after 30 frames, I'm gonna say that it gets here. Okay, so let's look at what's gonna happen now. I'm just gonna select the vertex map so that we can see. All right, now it grows, and that's pretty good, you see. So now the reason why this is really good is because you see it's not a straight line. That's pretty good. Okay, so it's not a straight line, it's actually a little bit curved. And we can even make this better, and this is why I like fields, is because I can just go to a shader field, I can just put in a noise here, and I can just do an overlay, and you can see here that I've got these details. Okay, so now why are we doing all this? You see how beautiful that is? Now, how are we gonna use all this? Well, wait a second. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna delete this. I'm gonna bring in this. So all I have to do is drag this in here. Okay, well, can I invert you, please? Don't do that, don't. Oh, okay, well, another mapping, and I just invert that. Okay. All right, so you see here, it's very, very, very special. You see that? It's really special. It's not straight. Now it's way better. All right, cool. Well, we solved this. Now the next thing is okay, but it's a little bit straight. Okay, so by now I know that I have spent around 10 to 15 minutes. All right, so by now I know that this is a little bit too straight. In order to make it thick, I'm just gonna go and use a cloth surface. I'm just gonna put this here, I'm gonna put this here, and I'm gonna say the thickness is around 1. Okay, so this is what's gonna happen if you try to see it this way. So I just made some thickness there. Okay, so that's what's really important. So now if I see what's happening, all right, that's beautiful. Okay, cool. So what I'm gonna do now, if this decides to behave, I'm just gonna make a standard camera, and I'm gonna put 0. I'm just gonna get in. I'm gonna put -90. Perfect. I'm just gonna put 0, 0, 0, and then I'm just gonna scale back so that I can have a perfect logo. Cool. That's it. All right, good. But it's really nice if you can a little bit zoomed in, so that in your compositing you can actually zoom out as much as you want. So what you want when you're compositing is you don't want to zoom in, you want to zoom out from your picture, because if you zoom in it's going to get pixelized. So that's why I get a little bit close to the camera so that, you know, I can see. So that's really good. Now, how did I go about creating the lines? As we can see here, where's the lines? Here. How did I go creating these lines, kind of frame pad? How do you do a frame pad inside of Cinema 4D? Okay, so to create these lines like a frame pack look, what I did was I duplicated the logo from here, deleted everything, and I'm just gonna do this. And one thing about this was I'm just gonna go select the edges, all of them. Okay, and then I did a Shift-C to bring in this command, and I said edge to spline. Okay, so then I can just delete this. Basically, I have these splines, so let's just get out. So it's just a spline, there's nothing to do. Now, to do the frame pad thing is I unfortunately had to use Xparticles, spline growth, and I just put it in, and basically I can just animate it just like a frame pad would do. Okay, so once I have this, so how are we gonna actually, you know, make it? Because if I try to see, I'm not seeing anything. So to do that, what I did was I just went and I created a little circly circle. I could just say like around 10, probably even less, just one, and then went into sweep, put that one there, put this one in there. So now you get this. Okay, so it's there. Now all I need to do is just make this really small, as small as I need. Because remember, size always matters. So now all I need to do is literally just keyframe this to the end. All right, cool, and then I got it. So now what I have is I have both. I have two. I have this, and I have this. So I can render in a pass, and I can just render that in a pass. That's what I mean by Simsta. See, it's a pass. So now I have two. That's pretty good. Now the last thing that I needed from this is, of course, I needed a little bit of particles. And I want to create a system. I'm going to call this as in hail, but this is something that I did at the end. I had time to do this, so I'm just going to show you what I've done here. I'm just going to turn this off because I just want to focus on this. So this is a hail. So if I try to turn on Xparticles, it's literally just that. Okay, cool. Now I don't need that much in terms of emission. I only need like 5 or something like that. Perfect. Now I'm just gonna get out of the camera. I'm gonna take this XP emitter and I'm just gonna move it here, something like this. Okay, and I'm just gonna rotate it to something like this. I wish I couldn't use this plugin, but I had to use it because of time. I don't really support this plugin. So now if I try to see, now I'll have these particles coming here. So that's pretty cool. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna say that the birth rate is gonna be like 10. It's gonna be pretty fast. Let's see. Somehow don't see them really early, so I'm just gonna get out here. Okay, yeah, well, I need to increase this for a bit. Okay, cool. Now let's see what's going on. So this is happening, so that's pretty cool. Now what I need is a little bit of turbulence, so I'm just gonna go and go to turbulence, and if I try to see now, just a little bit, not too much. It's around 500. So let's see. Turbulence is not really that great, so I'm just going to increase it. I'm just going to make them really, there we go. All right, now how do we get this to be with the same like particles as we wish? So I'm just going to make a little cube here. I'm going to do like 10 by 10 by 10, so it's going to be something like that. It's just because I want you to see what's going on. So I'm just going to take this cube, I'm just going to put it somewhere else. I'm going to come here, I'm going to do an X particle redshift object, and it's going to bring me to particles. I'm going to do custom object, and then I'm just going to put that there. Now you can see that all these are actually going to be my cubes. I can actually even, no need to scale the cube, you can just go here and scale those yourself from here. So then you get those things. The only thing that is missing here is that I can see that the cube, let's just look at it pretty big. You see that the cubes are going just so straight, and that's not how particles in the wind actually really work. And so what I'm going to do is XP spin, there we go. So now you can see that the particles are going to start not really spinning because I don't have anything here. So I'm just going to do like 555 degrees. Okay, now this should slowly start spinning. If you need more, you can just increase more, and there's gonna spin even more. One thing, I think, still a little bit too slow for me. Just gonna delete this for now, and then you can see that I'm having them go really hard. That's how she likes it. Yeah, there we go. One thing you could do is you can just have this a little bit random, so now I have all these that I can actually just render using Redshift. Another way you could actually do this, I remember there was actually I forgot, but there was one way that you could there we go, use rotation. So now you can rotate this yourself. So if we go to display parameter, if we go to emission, then we make this pretty big. Display. Now I didn't want to change that. I wanted to show you here. So if I go to box, so let's see. So you can see here that they're actually start to rotate. See that? So that's one thing that I just wanted to throw in there, that you can actually use this. So you can see here. So by doing that, you'll have a little bit of rotation. You can actually set it yourself how much you want to rotate this. You can even have a spin if so you desire. One thing that's really is to have them actually really get, there we go. You see, that's what I was looking for. I was looking for these kind of instances where these actually fly away, and that's really important. So yeah, that's all you need to know. So basically I could just so if I just stop in a frame like this, these are extremely too big, and that's exactly what she said. There we go. You get that. So everything is in line here. We can actually just do a variance here. Let's try to, yeah, so we have a little bit of differences. So this is pretty cool. I think I could just turn this down. All right, so how about lighting all this? Well, that's very simple if you think about it. So we have this. So what I'm going to do a dumb light. And for a dumb light, of course, I don't want to see it. So what we're going to do is in some maps that I feel like are going to work. So you could literally just use any you feel like. But the thing is, we're not going to see anything yet, as of yet, because we don't have any material. So I'm just going to go and apply a material. I don't want to have this. I just want to have something that is glassy. So when I get glassy, I still get this, but the problem here, let me just show you. If I just turn this on, okay, so everything is on, but this one is not on. Okay, cool. So, cool. So it looks good here, but then the light is not too much. So I'm just gonna increase a little bit here. So as you can see, one of the biggest problems is that I can see the map, which is really hard. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of roughness there. I'm gonna change this to GGX. And one thing for sure, what I want to do, I want to add a little bit of dispersion. So I'm just gonna add a bit here. Probably just go to 3. There we go. I'm starting to get a little bit of a. Another way you could do this is you can just take this yourself and literally just rotate that if that's the problem. Okay, there we go. Cool. So you get that. Or if you're not happy, you could just still change this. But again, this is all extra. Everything that I do now is just extra, which you should be knowing by now. So yeah, there we go. For example, we'll go with that one. This is a result from a tutorial that we've done before for the futuristic Earth. So I'm just using those same images to actually give me this one. I'm just gonna take this one and then give it to the sweep, for example. Then we can check this out. As you can see here, I've got a sweep. See that? Everything is so beautiful. Of course, inside of our render in After Effects, we're going to be able to increase the exposure and play with how this looks like. So don't spend too much time on this one. You got the move, you got everything. So now all you have to do is just go and press render. And I'm rendering twice. I'm rendering this alone, and then I'm rendering this alone. So by now I already spent around 30 minutes by now. 30 minutes by now. 30 to 35 minutes by now. So I have everything that I need from this. Another thing that is worth mentioning is we're gonna take a look on all of these when it comes to After Effects. But one thing that is worth mentioning is that if you go back to standard, and there's this little option that is really beautiful here. So you get these lines, and then you can even get even more detailed line if you wish like it. So if we just turn this off, so you'll be able to see that I have these details that I can actually use later on for any purpose that I feel like I want to use it for. So yeah, let's jump into After Effects.
Oh, no. Wait.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps a lot. All right, I'll see you on the next one.